How's it going? So today we're going to be doing like a battery, like a solar kind of update. I'm a little out of breath because I just carried a couple of big batteries from down the driveway. So I just want to show you what I got going on here. So to give you some context, I work in software, right? So we're going to be living out in this thing for a significant period of time, and in order to do my job and get paid to be able to just afford to do anything, I need to be able to work, which means I need electricity, I need internet, and internet's pretty much solved. We're using hotspot. Maybe I'll go over that at some point when I actually have some better data on it, but today it's all about electricity. So I want to show you what I got and what the plan is. Basically, we went with Renogy because I know they're reputable brand, and I don't want to risk having this not go well. So I went with just all the same brand stuff. So it's all calibrated to each other, and went with what some other YouTubers that are kind of like your mainstay YouTubers, what they did for power. Went off of notes of what they wanted and what they actually had, and tried to figure out what a reasonable compromise would be. So let's get started on that. Okay, so this is the front of the trailer, and if you look underneath, you notice there's an I-beam right here. Let me see if you can see that. Yeah. So it's right at the edge of the trailer. So I'm deciding to put the batteries there. Now these things are heavy. They're not the end of the world, like super duper heavy. They're not as heavy as that guy over there that we got a while ago. Now that's only 100 amp hour. But it's AGW or whatever the AGM. It says it right on the side there. So you can only use 50% of that. So really, it's 50 amp hour. Each one of these, as you can see on the side, is 200 amp hour, and I got two of them. So we got 400 amp hours of battery, and these batteries are supposed to, the Bluetooth, lithium, blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to protect itself against discharge and charging in temperatures that are outside of the safety zone for lithium. Now, here's something that I learned. These are lithium iron, not lithium ion. I always thought those were interchangeable. They're not at all. These, from what I know, I'm not an expert, so check with people that actually know things. These don't give off any gas. They're 100% safe. You can store them. I could have these sideways if I wanted to kind of try to bump them back to create more room here so it wasn't blocking part of the doorway. It's not blocking a lot. Like if I zoom back, you can see it's not blocking a ton. So, but I could put them sideways if I wanted, and that'd be fine. Let me see. So yeah, so I got these, and that's the batteries. Let me go over to the next piece. Okay, so here the bed inside comes up, and we got stuff everywhere because we're coming in for to spend a week out here. So still unpacking the car, but this is a charge control inverter charger. So basically the idea here, this is 2,000 watt. I don't think there's any labeling on it, but yeah, 2,000 watt inverter, which is I think it's going to be plenty fine. We have somewhere around here, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Up there we got an air fryer, which, if I remember correctly, I think it's 1,800 watt. But anyway, this will do it. This will take care of it. So this will allow you to get your AC for those that aren't aware. But also, what it'll do is if we plug it in, we'll just wire it up quickly and all that stuff, it will recharge the batteries. So we can basically take shore power, plug it in here somehow. I got to figure out how that's going to work, and then recharge the batteries if for some reason we're in a situation where we can't get enough solar. So that's that piece. Oh, and the one other thing about this, for storage location. So currently, you see the batteries are over there, and there's the access to the outside. So I'm putting this here for now. I don't need to have this away from the batteries. The instructions say keep it away from batteries and whatnot, but I specifically asked Renogy, after giving them my order number so they could look at the exact items, I was like, can I take this, put it directly next to that in the same compartment with no ventilation or anything like that? They said yes. So based off of that, with these exact items, I'll be putting them next to each other and I should be fine. And here we have the charge controller. So this is what's going to bring electricity from the solar panels to the batteries. And I got the 30 amp version. And the reason I got the 30 amp version is because I want to be able to, we're going to have 4 solar panels, so those are also underneath the charge controller. And we're going to have, let me show you actually. Okay, so these are the solar panels all laid out. That's, styrofoam on them. So what we're going to do is we're going to have these two wired in series, these two wired in series, and then these wired in parallel. Now, I believe once we wire these two in series, that will produce a 24 volt, 9 amp piece of power, basically. And these two the same thing. When you get these two sets in parallel, it's going to turn it into almost 20 amps. So what I did is I got the charge controller that's sturdy so I can leave enough room to put another set if we need it. I'm hoping this will be sufficient because carrying around another 2 solar panels, like they're not super light, but they're not super heavy, but yeah, I don't want to deal with 2 more. Now, what we're going to do here, these are never going to be permanently mounted anywhere. The idea is that these are going to be movable. Maybe we'll build some stands that they can go on or something like that. But the idea is I want to be able to put them somewhere not where the camper is, because the camper may be parked in a shady spot or something like that. And also be able to tilt them up so that they can be more oriented towards the sun. And what we learned when we went on our trip, let me turn the camera around. So we went on a trip, it was a sailing trip, and we tried to bring some solar panels. And that was basically our first and only experience so far with solar power. And we found that you just tip these things up a little bit towards the sun, and it drastically increases the amount of power they're outputting. So I figure, if we can use these 4 and have them tipped, it's going to be way more energy that we're producing than just putting them splat on top of the camper. Maybe at someday we'll put a couple, on top of the camper that are just permanently fixed on. But for now, I'm going to give this a shot and see how it goes. So that's the solar, that's the panels, that's the charging, it's all the equipment. So now the next step will be to start to try to get the wiring and whatnot to hook it up. We got to take a trip to the store and do that, and I think we're going to do that right now, but we'll see. Okay, so it's been a few days since the last time I was shooting the electric scenes. So I got some wires. We didn't have really the right equipment in terms of like the in-between pieces, the wiring and the fuses and all that. I thought it would be easy to pick up at like Home Depot or an auto store, but it wasn't. I had to get these on something like batterycable.com, something like that. It was it was a pretty good process. I ordered them, they came quick. Had exactly all the options and everything that you need, so it seemed to work well for me. So I will I did screw one thing up though. The bolt, so or stud, whatever you call it, that goes on top of the battery, I measured it, and I measured 1/4 inch approximately. So I ordered the ends to be 1/4 inch. They're not. I think it's 3/8. So I had to drill them out, and I did a fine job on these. And there's something I was reading about having to tin the ends of them or something, like the part you drill out. But I don't know how to do that, and I want to get this set up, so I'm just going to skip that for now. I think there's a potential for corrosion, so I'll have to keep an eye on that and clean it if it occurs, and then tin them when I feel like it's necessary. But I did screw up royally. Let's see if I can show it. This one here. It's a little fuzzy on the camera there, but basically, when I was drilling this out, the first one I tried to drill at high speed, and that didn't work out so well. High speed and high force, and that didn't work. The other ones I drilled low speed, low force, and they're way better. So I'm probably going to replace, well, I'm definitely going to replace this one, because you can even see like it ripped out of the socket a bit, so it's not really the safest, so I'm going to order a replacement for that. But these other ones are good. So yeah, so right now I'm going to hook up battery to battery, and then I'm going to hook up the charge controller to the battery, and with a non-permanent thing. I'll show you. Okay, so we ordered, we bought at Home Depot a big 500-foot roll of 10 AWG, or AGW, whatever it is, and that's, I forget what the amperage rating is, I think it's 20, 30, something like that. But I left it in the truck, and I don't have the truck with me. The truck is about an hour away. So, I happen to have a bit of 14 AGW, and I'm gonna use that for now, and I don't have the proper ends, not gonna put the proper ends on this, because this is gonna be throwaway wiring. I'm going to use less solar panels, so that I make sure I stay below the amperage for this, and yeah, just kind of get this hooked up so we can start getting these batteries charged, because they need to get charged. And then over the next few days, I'll fix it, and I'll show you it getting fixed. So for now, we're basically going to take these big guys, and we're going to run them from negative to negative and positive to positive to get these batteries into parallel, and then we're going to hook up to the charge controller. Okay, so now they're loosely attached, positive to positive, negative to negative, and now I need to run from the battery plus and minus on this guy to the batteries. Okay, so we got the solar charger now hooked into the battery. You can see the positive is going through a fuse there, and batteries are hooked to each other, and the solar charger is hooked to the positive and negative on the battery. And we have some indicator lights on, and some, I think it's reading 13.8. I can't quite see at this angle, but it's reading something. So yeah, so I find it interesting that this is actually, oh, let's pop the button. I find it interesting that this is actually on and doing anything, because these batteries are supposed to be in standby, which I assumed meant they're not going to output anything, but apparently that's not true. So yeah, now let's get the solar panels hooked in. I'm only going to do 2 of them, because like I said, we have the smaller gauge wires here. So I want to make sure I keep my amperage low. I'll just do 2 in series, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, well, we just got it hooked up. So I got the panel coming in positive through the other breaker in this block here, and so you can see I got my PV and my battery in. And if can we get this on the screen? Yeah. So this is showing I'm getting 2.6 amps in from the solar to the battery. And let me show you the absolute terrible situation that these panels are currently in. So they are super in the shade. You can see they're wired in series there. This wire is coming from that guy, that wire is coming from that guy, and they're connected. And we got that big tree there, and the sun behind a bunch of clouds. So there is just shadows everywhere. These aren't tipped up towards the sun. It's a bad situation. You can kind of see, maybe, I don't know if you can tell, but if the sun were coming out a little bit more from the clouds, you'd be able to see there's like a shadow line around here where the trees are kind of blocking this, and there's more of a sun in that way. So this is awful conditions, and we're getting 2.6 amps, which is admittedly not a lot, but hey, this is, the prototype. I'm gonna cut this video off here, but yeah, I'm happy that we're making progress here. We got at least some power flowing into the batteries, and they can start to charge. The goal is to get them up to 100% before we use them at all, because that's what the instructions say for, I guess, best life. They need a full charge before you start using them. So yeah, we're gonna let these kind of hang out here. Eventually we'll get the truck with the proper wiring to fix up all the wiring and be able to run it so that the panels can go off into the the area where it has a lot more sun. So yeah, this is cool. See you in the next one.